Imagine being able to see, even if you're blind or visually impaired.
It's like something out of science fiction, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's becoming a reality with technologies like WorldScribe, which is what we're diving into today.
This is some really cool stuff.
It is. We're looking at a research paper by Rui-Cha Chang and their colleagues on this system that generates these like really detailed visual descriptions in real time.
And it's not just reading off a list, it's really clever about it.
Published in the 37th Annual ACM Symposium on User Interface Software and Technology, by the way, if you want to check it out.
Definitely worth a read.
Yeah.
So this WorldScribe, it's a great example of how AI can make things so much more accessible.
For sure, and this isn't your typical screen reader.
Right, it goes way beyond that.
It's like aware of what's going on around you. It adapts.
Imagine, like, you're walking down a busy street, right? And suddenly there are sirens blaring.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
WorldScribe would actually pause, let you hear those sirens so you can react, stay safe.
That's amazing. It's thinking about your safety.
Exactly. And the paper gives this great example of Sarah, who's blind, exploring the zoo with her kid. Like, imagine that.
Wow. Yeah.
Experiencing the zoo through WorldScribe.
That's gotta be wild.
It could guide her to the giraffes, describe the textures, like the feel of the grasslands, even warn her if a giraffe got too close to her child.
Wow. So it's not just like, oh, there's a giraffe. It's really painting a picture.
Exactly. A much richer experience.
And here's what I find really cool about WorldScribe. You can customize it.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
A lot more detail about something. You got it. Needed to focus on certain things like colors, textures. It's all there.
You have that control.
Exactly. Even how the descriptions are given, like pausing if it's noisy or speaking louder when it needs to.
Because everyone's different, right?
Yeah.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly. It's all about your own preferences, your needs.
And WorldScribe gets that.
Okay, so we've talked about what it does, but how does it actually work? Like I say, find the nearest coffee shop. How does it turn that into a description?
It's like magic, but with a lot of clever engineering behind it.
Okay, so walk us through it.
Let's break it down.
All right, let's do it.
Think of it like a team of specialists working together,
Okay, I'm ready to meet the team.
First, you have the intent specification layer. So it's taking your request. Let's say you say, find the nearest coffee shop, and it breaks it down,
Man,
right?
it's figuring out what I'm really asking for.
Exactly. It uses the powerful language processing abilities of GPT-4 to understand not just your words, but their meaning in context.
GPT-4 is like the interpreter. Okay, I get it. But the world is constantly changing. How does WorldScribe keep up with all that visual information?
That's where the keyframe extraction layer comes in. Imagine a photographer in a fast-paced environment. They can't capture every single moment, so they focus on the most impactful ones.
So WorldScribe is looking for those key moments, those changes in the scene, those frames that signal something new or important.
Precisely. It analyzes the camera's orientation, the arrangement of objects, and identifies those crucial frames.
That's incredibly clever. It's like WorldScribe is anticipating what I need to know before I even realize it.
That's the goal. Now, once it has those keyframes, it's time for the description generation layer to work its magic. Here, WorldScribe utilizes a trio of models, YOLO World, Moondream, and GPT-4V. Each model has a different strength, allowing WorldScribe to provide a range of descriptions.
It's fascinating that they're using multiple models. It's like having a team of reporters, each with a unique perspective.
Exactly. Think of YOLO World as the beat reporter. It's quick, efficient, and great at identifying basic objects: car, tree, person. It's providing a solid foundation for understanding the scene.
Got it. So that's our quick snapshot. What about Moondream?
Moondream is our feature writer. It takes a bit longer, but dives deeper into the context. Instead of just person, Moondream might describe a person walking a dog or a person sitting on a bench. It helps you understand the relationships between objects and their actions.
That adds a whole new layer of understanding. And where does GPT-4V, our marathon runner, come in?
GPT-4V excels at crafting those highly detailed, nuanced descriptions, especially when it comes to the visual attributes you've customized. Remember how you can tell WorldScribe to focus on colors, textures, or shapes.
Right. So if I'm looking for a specific type of flower, for example, I could ask WorldScribe to really hone in on those details.
Exactly. GPT-4V would take center stage, providing rich descriptions of the flower's petals, its color gradients, maybe even comparing it to other flowers you've encountered before.
That's amazing. But with all these descriptions coming from different models, how does WorldScribe decide which one to actually deliver to the user? It seems like it could get overwhelming quickly.
Yeah, it's like, how do you choose which description is the most important?
That's where the description prioritization layer steps in.
Okay, so it's like a filter.
More like an organizer to make sure you're not bombarded with too much information at once.
So it considers everything.
Exactly. It takes into account what you asked for, how close you are to things, and what's going on in the whole scene. So, if I'm at the zoo, right, and I ask about the giraffes, it's not going to start describing the cotton candy stand across the way.
Exactly. It knows what you're interested in, and it prioritizes descriptions based on that.
That makes a lot of sense. But what about sound? Like, the real world is noisy. How does WorldScribe deal with that?
That's the job of the presentation layer. It's kind of like a conductor.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It analyzes all the sounds around you, just like a conductor listens to their orchestra.
And then adjusts accordingly.
Exactly. So if a loud truck rumbles by, it might pause the descriptions for a second.
So you don't miss anything important.
Exactly. Or, it can adjust the volume so you can still hear everything clearly.
Wow, it's really thinking of everything, isn't it? But did real people actually get to try this out?
They did. The researchers had 6 participants, all blind or visually impaired, test out WorldScribe in different environments.
Like a real world test drive.
Exactly. From labs to hallways, even the outdoors.
Okay, so what did they think? Did it live up to the hype?
The feedback was overwhelmingly positive. People were really impressed by how accurate it was and how quickly it responded to their requests.
So it's as responsive as it sounds.
Definitely. And they loved the level of detail in the descriptions.
That's great. But were there any suggestions for improvement?
A few things came up.
Like what?
Some people wanted a memory feature, so it wouldn't repeat descriptions of places they already knew.
That makes sense. It could get a bit repetitive otherwise.
Right, and some wanted the language to be more natural, more conversational, like if a human was guiding them.
That's a cool idea. It's like having a friend there with you describing everything.
Exactly. But even without those features, WorldScribe's a huge step forward for accessibility.
It's amazing to see how AI can be used in such a positive way, you know?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
It has the power to really change people's lives for the better.
And that's what makes this so exciting. It's not just about the technology. It's about the impact it can have.
Exactly. It opens up a world of possibilities.
Speaking of possibilities, imagine if this could be integrated with other assistive technologies, like smart canes or navigation apps.
Oh, absolutely. The potential is huge.
It could be a game changer.
No doubt about it. A world where technology seamlessly adapts to our needs, breaks down barriers, and creates a more inclusive future.
What a powerful vision. Well, that's WorldScribe, a shining example of how AI can empower and enrich lives. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into this incredible technology. It's been quite a journey.